Hey guys, Hector here with another Japanese product review, sort of. This one is a digital product, and so I can't really show you it or anything like that. I wanted to talk about Rosetta Stone, which is the language program. It helps teach you Japanese or various other languages. But I've been using the Japanese program for about 2.5 years now, and so I wanted to kind of give a review of it. There's a lot of good points, a lot of bad points, and some people might not know exactly how it is, so I'm going to tell y'all. Rosetta Stone is pretty dang expensive, but it is pretty useful. And I know there are a lot of free apps and web pages out there that can teach you some Japanese, but it's usually just text or some audio that you listen to, and that's about it. With Rosetta Stone, it's a lot more interactive, but it can get pretty pricey. There are 3 levels, I believe. Yes, 3 levels of Japanese. You can either buy the first level, or you can buy levels 1 through 3 in a package. You cannot buy levels 2, and you cannot buy level 3 by itself, which is pretty stupid in my opinion, but what are you going to do? Do not buy Rosetta Stone just at the basic price, because there are sales all the time, flash sales, normal sales, and so I think I got levels 1 through 3 for about $150 or something like that. And if you don't wait for a sale, I think you can get up to $300 and $500, which is just insane. So Rosetta Stone, you use the program, you use a mouse, a microphone, and then your speakers, because it speaks to you. Sometimes you speak back to it, and sometimes you choose certain things on the program. There are 3 levels. Each level has 4 units, and each unit has 4 lessons, and then each lesson has a bunch of assignments basically that you do. And so first you choose the core lesson, which teaches you brand new vocabulary, new words, new sentences, phrases, and stuff like that. Then it goes into pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, listening and reading, writing, listening, speaking, and then the review. The core lesson, well, they give estimated times of how long it should take to complete it. Core lesson is usually about 30 minutes, and then the other ones vary between 5 to 15 minutes, and the review is usually about 5 minutes. It's a really short test. Once you complete all 4 lessons in a unit, then you get a milestone, which is sort of like a final. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. So Rosetta Stone teaches you on a very, very basic level, like you would teach a baby. Babies don't know a language, so you basically just show them pictures or the world around them, and then you just tell them the word over and over until they memorize it. That's pretty much how it is with Rosetta Stone. You just see pictures, and it speaks to you, and you speak back, and then you choose the right sentences or words, and that's how you learn. There's no English, it's only Japanese. So that can have some upsides and some downsides. Sometimes you might not get a word. But if you don't get a word, you can always use a translator like Google Translate and enter a word, and then it can help you out. But as you get into the higher lessons, it can be pretty tough, because Google Translate isn't always the best program out there for translating Japanese. And so, as I said, there are 3 lessons, and then, units and levels and all that stuff. So I wanted to go over what each lessons cover, because I don't think it explains it anywhere in the Rosetta Stone website or even on any product pages. But I should note, you should take these lessons from the very beginning to the very end, from level 1 to level 3, because it does get harder. But level 1 starts out, the very first unit in level 1, it's language basics, then greetings and introductions for unit 2, then work and school for unit 3, and then shopping for unit 4. Then we go on to level 2, unit 5, which is travel, unit 6, past and future, unit 7, friends and social life, unit 8, dining and vacation. Then we go to level 3, unit 9, home and health, level 10, life and world, everyday things for unit 11, and unit 12 is places and events. But as I said, start out from the very beginning, because the very first assignments basically are just 1-word assignments, and then we get into more complex sentences, and then it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. you can read the words on Rosetta Stone in 4 different ways. There's Romaji, which is the basic English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all that stuff, A to Z. Then there's Hiragana and Katakana, which is pretty much the simplified Japanese characters. Like each syllable pretty much has its own character. Ha has its own character. Na has its own character. Shi has its own character. And hiragana is for Japanese originated words. Katakana is for words originating outside Japan that Japan borrows and puts into their own alphabet, basically. Then there's kanji, which is a more simplified but complex form. Like, since there are no spaces in their sentences and they just jumble it all together, they put kanji in there so you can kind of know what the sentence is talking about, because there might be a lot of words that have the exact same spelling, but if you use kanji, it's a different kanji from different words, so you know what the sentence is talking about. And then the 4th way is kanji and furigana, I believe it's called, which is the really complex kanji symbols, and then above those it's hiragana, so you know how to pronounce the kanji, just in case you don't remember. There's a core lesson, as I said, is the basic stuff. Then there's pronunciation, so you have to use the microphone to pronounce words or sentences. Then there's vocabulary. It just, sometimes it might be a simple word, and then it'll be at the top of the page, and then there will be pictures at the bottom, and then you just have to match the word to the picture. And sometimes there might just be a whole section missing, a whole word missing, and then you have to choose the right word in a drop-down menu. And grammar is sort of like that missing section. It might give you a sentence, and then it'll have a missing section, and then you have to fill in that missing section from the drop-down menu to have a grammatically correct sentence. And sometimes the more advanced parts, it makes you use the microphone and say a sentence correctly. It might give you a few sentences, like 2 or 3, as a setup, and it's like, this is how the sentence goes, so now tell me how this sentence should be. Then there's listening and reading. You just listen to what the program says, or you read what the program says and matches it up to the and then you match it up to the pictures. Then there's reading. You just read what's on the screen and then match it up to the pictures. Then there's writing. In the beginning, writing is just teaching you hiragana and katakana. So it'll just be like, this is ha, this is ha, this is na, and then match it up to the correct hiragana and katakana. And that does that for a long time until the later, I think level 2 at the end, or the beginning of level 3, they want you to actually type out words, and that is pretty broken. So there are no spaces in Japanese, but Rosetta Stone, when you're writing, they want you to use spaces, but they don't always use the spaces correctly. Sometimes they want you to use a space between 2 words, sometimes they don't, even if it's the exact same words but 2 different sections, 2 different assignment sections. So I don't know who programmed this, but the spaces are really messed up. And then the spelling can get pretty difficult. There's a very, very common hiragana, which is ha, H-A, and when you use it in certain parts of sentences as like a sentence modifier sort of thing, they want you to pronounce it wa, and that's correct, you're supposed to pronounce it wa, but when you're writing, they want you to spell it W-A, but it's spelled H-A. Spelling it W-A is a completely different hiragana character. Same goes for O. O is one hiragana character, and W-O, which is kind of like wo, is another hiragana character. Most people still pronounce it O. Some people sometimes pronounce it wo, but you always type it W-O when you're just using a keyboard, and the Japanese keyboard, like on Windows or wherever. Even on Google Translate, if you click turn my alphabet letters into hiragana, you have to type W-O to get that character. Same with H-A and the wa and all that stuff. And then in katakana, you add a bar symbol to extend like a vowel or a sound. Like even in my name, on my I might still have it on my channel name, and I spell it H-E-K-U-T-A and then a bar. So it's hekta, because when you extend the ah, it kind of replaces it for an R sound. So I spell it Hakuta bar, but if you were to do that in Rosetta Stone, they don't use bars, they just want you to do a double A. So they would want me to spell it Hakuta. And so that can be a little bit difficult right there. And then after completing all 4 lessons in a single unit, you go to the milestone. The milestone is basically a final, but it is only speech and pictures on the Rosetta Stone program. So, but the problem with speech in Rosetta Stone is they want you to say a specific sentence. And you can always reply to a number of sentences in a number of ways. But Rosetta Stone, they want you to use only one specific way. Sometimes they want you to use a complete sentence, and sometimes they want you to use a one-word reply. So it can be pretty annoying trying to guess what way they want you to respond. And in the milestone, it's not all responses too. In the milestone, sometimes you have to make the first sentence to whatever's on the scene, because there are pictures, but it's kind of a slideshow type picture. So there's a story going on, and then you just have to communicate with the program for that final milestone. And then after completing, I'm not sure if it's after completing lessons or completing units, but after completing a lesson, unit, whatever, and you don't use it for a while, and then you go back to it, there will be sort of a refresher assignment, a kind of a drawback, I'm not sure what else you would call it. So they'll give you an assignment with a few vocabulary words or sentences so you can keep remembering it. Because if you don't use it for a while, you will forget. So just go back to the last lesson or unit, and then you'll have a refresher course after a couple weeks. But so after completing one lesson and a couple of the assignments in the first lesson, you go to the second lesson, and there will be assignments for the first and second lesson. Then when in the third lesson, there's assignments from the first, second, and third lesson. And in the fourth lesson, there's assignments from the first, second, third, and fourth lesson. But once you go into the next unit and there's 4 more lessons, you will not get lessons from the last unit, and that's what the refresher courses are for. So you have to keep going back and clicking on the last unit if you want to get those refresher courses after a few weeks. And I believe that's all there is to Rosetta Stone. So if you're curious about it, I hope this video helped clarify things and maybe helped you make a decision if you want to buy it or not. And I'll give a link in the description for the Amazon page for Rosetta Stone if you guys want to buy it. And so hope this video was helpful, and if it was, you can give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Japanese product reviews or just other Japanese related videos, because I have some up now and more will be coming in the future. So if you're subscribed, you'll just get them in your little subscription box. Pretty simple, right? So yeah, I guess that's it. See you guys later.